Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
You know what's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua is a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again.
Once again, Jake Paul finds himself caught in the middle of a storm that could signal the collapse of his controversial run as a YouTuber turned boxer. New accusations claiming Paul may have staged several of his biggest fights, including the massive Netflix showdown with Anthony Joshua, have spread rapidly online, with some areas of social media even alleging that he and his brother avoided arrest connected to these claims. Promoters and boxing officials have strongly denied that professional fights can be fixed without serious legal consequences, but doubts about Paul's authenticity inside the ring have now reached a breaking point. The situation adds another dramatic chapter to a career already linked to past legal trouble, including an FBI raid at his Calabasas mansion. With allegations growing and his boxing credibility under heavier scrutiny than ever, many are now asking if this moment finally marks the end of Jake Paul's rapid rise in the sport.
FBI agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Birch is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home, located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is offering any additional information.
For years, many boxing analysts, former fighters and promoters have openly questioned the legitimacy of Jake Paul's fights long before any recent arrest rumors appeared. From opponents carefully chosen past their prime to strange fight rhythms, late knockdowns, and reports of contracts with strict conditions, critics say Paul's rise has felt more manufactured than earned and more constructed than proven inside the ring.
Manufactured than earned.
Because I've always been curious about this, because, like, you know, you saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, like, Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have paid me all the money in the world to fall on anybody.
Veteran voices across the sport have long argued that while Jake Paul brings huge attention and money to boxing, his fights often avoid real competitive danger, which has fueled suspicions that results are shaped to protect the brand rather than test true skill. As these concerns stack up, each new controversy does not stand alone but instead strengthens the belief that Paul's boxing path has been built on image, leverage, and control instead of the raw unpredictability that defines the sport. Some critics say blink twice if a Jake Paul fight is set up, because that question now hangs over everything tied to his name. Fighters themselves have explained how impossible it would feel to accept money to lose on purpose, saying real competitors would rather walk away than take what feels like disrespect unless the price was so massive it meant leaving the sport forever. In the past, the Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul fight added fuel to this debate when online rumors about a leaked script spread rapidly, claiming the bout had been planned in advance. Alleged audio clips circulated suggesting key moments, including Tyson's apparent fatigue and Paul's victory, were staged, which sent fans into a frenzy and deepened doubts that are still haunting Paul's boxing credibility today.
That defines the sport.
Blink twice if that Jake Paul fight was set up.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest in and fall off in the shade.
After his win against Mike Tyson, Jake Paul shared his views on how the fight went and spoke with full confidence about his showing in the ring. He said he was barely hit and never hurt, which made it clear he felt fully in control and believed the fight offered little resistance. Many of his supporters praised these comments and took them as evidence that Paul has the ability and confidence to face even famous names from boxing history. At the same time, critics pushed back and highlighted the lack of excitement and real risk in the match, while also pointing out that Tyson looked slow and unthreatening, which raised questions about how competitive the fight really was. The situation feels similar with the recent matchup against Anthony Joshua. A large number of observers have called this fight unrealistic due to the clear gap in experience, size and background between the two fighters, and some have said it looks more like entertainment than a true sporting contest. The idea of a YouTuber turned boxer with a 12-1 record facing a former two-time heavyweight world champion who has spent years fighting top-level opponents has led many to describe the matchup as one-sided. To some, Paul appears less like a serious challenge and more like a money-driven opponent, which has only increased speculation about the true purpose of the event.
In the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul won and Mike Tyson lost.
Following his victory over Mike Tyson, Jake Paul expressed his
Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt.
I was seeing it. Why didn't he have underwear on?
He had a G-string on, is what he had.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was crazy when we talked about this. I told him you're gonna say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end.
Thank you. At the same time, Jake Paul is heading into this fight with a level of confidence that has caught the attention of even experienced observers. Recent discussions have highlighted how strongly he believes in his ability to meet the challenge and come out on top. Unlike some earlier fights, Paul appears far more focused and driven as he prepares for this moment. Experts watching his training say his mindset plays a major role and that his confidence comes from both his physical condition and his mental strength. This shows that he is not taking the challenge of facing a former heavyweight champion lightly, but is instead welcoming it as a chance to prove himself on a global stage.
Is more spectacle than sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the bar knockout when he got fucking spattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then got done, and he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over when he wants.